Anybody hearing me? Hello? Okay, we're gonna do some more Mikey Smith stuff. Yes, we need more Mikey Smith in our lives. I think this is actually feeding his ego, but I'll wait a few minutes. Sorry for the odd timing. But in an hour and 20 minute, Craig's gonna start. And there's some kind of baseball game on tonight. Just 1 second here. There's some audio output, so we're going to start reviewing some of his observations here. This is him in the meteor that went through the Pleiades.
Review the Pleiades video that I had recorded there with the so-called shooting star that goes from middle of the frame to the right. So I've got my CapCut app here, which I review all my footage on. You can see that it comes from...
Okay, reviewing the footage, good step. Seeing what's actually going on, slowing it down, tracking it through the shot. So, that's actually a good thing. I don't know about using CapCut. Yeah, CapCut, but... because it's an
example, and of course you can see...
because CapCut is an app devised for posting TikTok videos. So... it's not really meant to do an analysis of the images.
Right there, the starting point.
Everybody hearing things?
White light right there, and you can see how it's starting to generate its power or its electricity. And as we move forward through,
now he's going off the rails. It's not creating electricity. What's happening is it's starting to push through the atmosphere, and it creates like a bow shockwave. It's not directly on the meteor. It creates like a shockwave ahead of it, and that's what's happening. And this is probably how to tell the difference between a satellite and a meteor is that it'll do this all of a sudden in the middle of an image, and if it's a satellite, it'll keep going. I'm going to check. See if anybody can hear me or anybody's. So that's what's happening here, but we'll keep watching it.
Through the frame, if I can just get that going. You see how that works? Right there is where it starts to produce its energy, its electricity, static discharge, or whatever you want to call it. Right there.
It's kind of like a plasma, superheated gas, not electricity.
100% proven that this is, and then again we'll zoom in. That's the starting point, and of course this is not dust or space itself. This is the start of the firmament and where it's going to...
Here's the thing. We've actually gotten rocks from space through this. There was ones in a Russian city. I can't pronounce the city name. But it happened. Everybody caught it on their car cams, but they all traffic cams or whatever you want to call them. They got them, and they found rocks all throughout the city. Plus, actually, I think this was last year. This happened. This was in PEI, which is a neighboring province to mine. The first time they actually caught a meteor landing and leaving sound. The thing is, the guy who caught this on his security camera just left that spot about 15 minutes before to walk the dog.
An ordinary day on Prince Edward Island, something extraordinary. A sound never recorded before. Captured clearly in daylight. The smash steps away from Joe Validum's house. What hurtled from the sky missed hitting the homeowner by about 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
It landed right between my legs where I was standing.
He'd left to walk his dogs. When he got back, all he saw was a mess.
We had no idea what it was, and we were cleaning it up and going to throw it away.
But a neighbor heard a crash and questioned, was this a meteorite? The homeowners wondered too when they saw their camera and sent photos to a meteorite expert at the University of Alberta who happened to be on his way to PEI for a family vacation. Chris Hurd confirmed that yes, this was a meteorite, the first ever recorded to land on PEI, but also a first for the world.
The first time that we've ever had a recorded fall of a meteorite hitting the surface of the Earth with sound included.
The sound of a space rock about the size of a kiwi shattering on impact.
When I showed it to my wife, she said it sounded like ice breaking, like if you took a chunk of ice and just smashed it, right? It's remarkable because it's never really been heard before.
The researcher says the meteorite likely broke off from an asteroid between Mars and Jupiter. We often see them speed across our skies, but in Canada, only about 70 meteorites have been recovered. Rarely do they hit a structure like when this piece hit a home in Edmonton or this one crashed through a ceiling in Golden, BC. This homeowner is glad he moved and also in awe.
We need to be reminded that the lives that we lead are just a small part of this, celestial drama that's so much bigger than we can possibly imagine.
And so, what are the chances? A question perhaps for the universe. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
Okay, I'm going to leave that there. But yeah, we've measured these and we've studied them. They're chunks of rock going through. This one was probably fairly small and burnt out before it hit the
Welcome
ground.
to Ultrix 1.
The so-called falling star. You can see that with your own two eyes as I'm reviewing it with you. I'll just do it a few times here. Right there, pow, boom.
Okay.
And then what do? We expand it, make it full screen, and we'll do a screenshot. And then we take that screenshot. This is what we do. We review our own footage, remember? Mr. Jim Ennis, who doesn't review his own footage. Anyways.
That's another flat earther who's gone into doing the astronomy stuff. That's why Mikey's calling himself the real Starman now. I can't remember what Jim Ennis calls himself, but the Canadian Starman or something.
So yeah, here we go. Let's grab that, and then we'll brighten up the object there in the screen. Once we get things properly done. Light balance. And of course we lighten that baby up. And we can see that the light is coming from somewhere, and of course I'm trying to get this light out of here so you can see the point of light there. Just ignore all the other blotchy stuff. We can do this, and we can go to,
because the blotchy stuff is what happens when you amp up the brightness on your screen, is because it just brightens up what's there. So you see that there's like very bright spots and very dark spots. And if it was another picture, you'd probably call it the firmament.
Lighten up, brighten up the stuff there. And of course, the surface of the firmament is starting to show up as we do this. And what I like doing is going over to sharpness. We can sharpen that baby up. I wish we can get rid of this glossy light. And one other thing is the temperature. This is quite an amazing thing when we change the temperature to make it go down, but it overpowers things, and this is how I get stuff to become visible. And yeah, so we can zoom into that.
And he complains that the Canadian Space Agency or astronomers alter images, but he's doing the same thing here. So, and he's using a digital camera, which is a computer, to take the images. Plus Plus, it's a camera taking a picture of a
and
camera.
show more of that so-called falling star being discharged from the firmament or whatever it is. I wish I could get rid of that glare. There we go. So there you go. That and this structure or layer in the firmament is going to discharge that light as a so-called falling star, as you see in the video. As we go back to the previous video, you can see it there, and of course we'll just finish it off by showing you the streak of light, so-called falling star. See, it turns on and poof, turns on, poof. Thank you very much. That's what I do. Now the question is, what do you do with your own footage?
Okay, it's probably just a piece of dust that burned up in the atmosphere. No big mystery. Plus, I think he given some of the other things he's said, I think he actually thinks we think there's stars falling out of the sky. I think in the past that probably was the case, that people actually did think they were falling stars. But nowadays, it's everybody pretty much knows it's just dust, pieces of rock. So, okay, and let's see, where's the? Well, these are other people's meteors falling. So you can see there's plenty of footage of meteors falling down through the sky. I don't know. That's more looks like special effects. But now we're going to move on to Comet Lemon and his view of Comet Lemon.
This is what I do, man. I do have a video. I can show you the video. I can post the video.
Can you guys hear me?
The video doesn't come out. You can't see the tail in the video because it's not moving. This is a stationary light. It's not shooting through the air to produce this light. This is a light beam. It's not traveling in the direction of the light. It's actually going this way in reverse through the sky. Oh my God, the space agency is...
Here's the thing. Comet tails always point away from the sun because there's a stream of particles from the sun called the solar wind. And actually now, since there's corona mass ejections, because we're at near a solar maximum or just after a solar maximum, the particles, there are probably more particles being spewed out the back from the sun, so making the tail go away from the sun. So it's not the direction of the comet moving. Sometimes the tail can look like it's in front of the comet relative to the way it's moving. It has nothing to do with the way the comet's moving. There's no air up there pushing it away, and it's not moving through air like it would happen on Earth.
I don't know what they're gonna do. I have no idea what they are going to do. So yeah, we can zoom into this too if you want, and we can just look at the nice round bright light beam coming
Wrong video.
coming right through the firmament, or it's in the firmament or whatever, because it's obviously reflecting off of something or lighting up the surface up there. And again, the only reason why it's blotchy right now is because we have currently, I'll tell you what we have, humidity is at 65%.
He's right. Humidity would affect the image. A lot of big professional telescopes are put on top of mountains to get out of the humidity in the air. That's why you have telescopes on top of Mauna Kea in Hawaii, or in the Chilean desert, or on top of Chilean mountains in the southern hemisphere, or in the Canary Islands. They have a bunch of them on the Canary Islands. It's to get them above as much of the atmosphere as possible. So he's kind of right. It would affect the image.
And it will increase as the night goes on till about 73 or 75% humidity. Okay, so you got to deal with what you get. And if we had 15 or 20% humidity, this would be a whole different story. You would see the entire firmament being lit up with nice 100% clarity and not this blotchy crap. But the main purpose is to obviously get this light beam.
Plus, he's also using a cell phone camera, so through a binoculars, that probably hinders some of the image processing as well.
Because this beam is not shooting, it's not going this way, guys. It's not going through the...
The beam is what we call a nucleus. It's the comet itself. It's one way to describe them are dirty snowballs. They're a combination of water ice, carbon dioxide ice, methane ice, clay, rock, all kinds of stuff that was left over from the beginning of the solar system. And there's 2 possible locations that they come from. This one, I think it says, is a 15,000 year orbit, so it's probably out in the Oort cloud, which is way out there. I think it goes to about a third of a light year, or a light year away from the sun. There's also the Kuiper belt, which is around Neptune and Pluto in that area. Pluto is an object in the Kuiper belt, but these are just leftover remnants from the beginning of the solar system. One way some people used to simulate this was take clean cat litter and dry ice and mix it together, and that's what that was a good analogous for science projects. While dry ice would be a pain. Dry ice would do a lot of damage to you, so you'd have to be very, very careful with it.
Sky in the direction of this. It's actually moving this way and down, because it's going to the northwest as the sky
Okay. I don't know if I should. I'll let him talk.
With that embedded into the firmament, along with the stars. That is what's going on. Yeah, I do wish the Canadian Space Agency a lot of luck. And again, I'm going to wish the NASA a lot of luck too when I go after their wart-filled asses. So yeah, I don't know what else to do other than...
As usual, any conversation with Mikey should have a language warning. Yeah, the Canadian Space Agency actually sent him a response, and it says basically, you haven't showed us any evidence that we've done any harm to you. He thinks that people are faking space and humiliating him, but it's basically, if you go out in public and have a big sign that says something contrary to what everybody else believes, you're going to be made fun of. It's just one of those things. I hate being on the end of that, but people have made fun of, well, you don't. There's a couple instances. One was, I knew about evolution, and there's people who in town or in my school who didn't like evolution, and they made fun of me for that. I have a few quirks. I don't like crowded spaces or a lot of noise when I'm doing stuff, and I like to relax. I like listening to music, and some people made fun of me for that kind of thing. So I know how it feels. But he's also, this is the scientific consensus, and we've got observations and all kinds of proof that the Earth is round, and he's going out with science and saying the Earth is flat, and he's bothering people at observatories and all this. So he's trying to sue the Canadian Space Agency for stuff. So it's basically, we shouldn't be making fun of him. We should be trying to discuss it with him. But people have tried to discuss it with him. People have tried to offer him show him how to use telescopes and binoculars and stuff. They even offered to pay for trips to Rhode Island. He lives in Saskatchewan, so that's about a 3,000 or 4,000 kilometer trip, to pay for his gas and accommodations and stuff, for him to go down to talk to them in Rhode Island and show him. And he's refused, and he thinks he thinks he knows better than everybody else. So that's part of the reason why he's getting ostracized, and people are getting fed up with him.
just leave that beautiful picture up on the screen. I love myself so much, guys. I spent 3 separate nights trying to catch this. Last night was not clear, so I couldn't go out last night. But whenever I was in the city there last, I tried getting it there 4 or 5 days ago. And and finally went out again tonight, and away she went. We got the beautiful comet or light beam, whatever you want to call it, blah, 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 blah. I will post a video here. Let me check the video here, see if I'm happy with it or not. I could put it through CapCut right now and take a look. See, all it is and you can see that it's going the wrong direction. It's oh man. That's funny. 3, so I did that one. She had some focusing issues there. I could put it through, let's get rid of this now. And just give me a minute here. I usually like doing this in the night, not in the night, in the dark. I'll just see if I can run through it quickly here and see if I can find anything interesting. Edit, zoom in.
I'm trying to skip ahead here.
Resume on the flat earth and truth. My resume is probably 10 pages long. So I'll just add this one to the resume. Absolutely. So again, I'm not sure what other people are going to get with their so-called fancy telescopes, but they are not zooming into it like I do. I don't care about how huge or expensive your telescopes are. I don't care if it's a mile wide. It's not going to serve any purpose other than seeing more of the sky.
Actually, what a telescope does is it gather up light and, from a wide area and condenses it down to a small area, so you get more concentrated light. That's what telescopes are. They're light concentrators or light buckets. And he uses binoculars, which are 2 telescopes stuck together.
I do not want to see more of the sky. I want to zoom in on a certain spot and a certain spot only. Yes, Henry Thomas, hope all is good. Just looking at the beautiful pictures. They're all basically the same, just different zoom, time zoom. So they're basically all the same, just different.
Okay, there's a video where he shows the comet going down, and as he says, it going to the northwest. The reason that's because the Earth is moving. You're not going to see the movement of the comet through the sky. It's such far away, and so so a small time traveling is going to take look very small. Take like the best way is take them like a few days apart or weeks apart or a week apart, and you can see the different times it's moved. I haven't done it with a comet, but I did a second-year astronomy project where we actually took images of asteroids, and these were known asteroids, and we found them and then took an image of them, and then there's software that can figure out exactly where it is, and then take an image of another point, and you can see where it is at that point and figure out the distance and figure out how fast it's traveling and how long it will take for it to travel around in an orbit around the sun. So we've done it. People do this all the time. The telescope we were using was like a 14-inch or 40 centimeter Schmidt Cassegrain. It doesn't take, that's pretty pricey, but You can do it with probably with smaller, anything that can find an asteroid, you can find it. Plus, we've actually sent missions to comets. Oops, wrong light. Where did I put that? That's over here. And here's like a list of some of the missions. I'm gonna probably there's like ICE from NASA and the ESA, and that was launched in '78. That was to 21P, and I'm not going to pronounce. Okay, how comets are named is the P means periodical. Another one would be C for comet, and it's usually how many they've been found. Like 1P Halley from Vega. Well, Vega 1 was a Russian probe sent to 1P Halley. Halley's Comet. Everybody knows Halley's Comet is a 76 year period. And then you have Vega 2, which was sent to Halley from USSR. A Japanese probe, Sakigaki, and people are going to probably complain about that. There was Giotto in 1985 to Halley and to 26P. These are the people, the names after it is the people who found it. So Halley was found, well, Halley's Comet was known for a long time before Halley's Comet. So, and this was Sushi from Japan and 21P. And then you have Deep Space One. It says it was spacecraft failure. They were trying a new ion engine. Ion engines, instead of spewing out chemicals, spew out particles like protons or electrons out the back, and use electric and magnetic fields to do this. I don't know if it had a twin ion engine or not. Maybe Star Wars fans will get that. There's Stardust, which was launched in 1999 to 81P and 9P Temple, and they were successful. Okay. And they were measuring a crater left by deep impact in one of those. Okay, and then you have Contour, which was launched by NASA, and it went to 2P Enki, and 73P, and 6P. And then you have Rosetta, which went to 67P. And that was in 2004. So there's, and Philae, which actually crashed into 67P. It was part of the Rosetta mission. And then you have Deep Impact, which went to 9P Temple and 103 Hartley. And then you have Chang'e, which was by the Chinese Space Agency, and it went to 31 Pan-STARRS. It's en route at the moment. So there's been plenty of missions to study, and then we've actually had return missions samples, so we know what's in the tail of the comet. But about the motion of the comet, there's something he doesn't get.
Okay, one last time. These are small, but the ones out there are far away. Small, far away. Forget it.
It's basically, to see a huge difference, you'd have to measure them at different times. But I just like that clip. So, yeah, so he doesn't understand comets, but he thinks he's going to win the case against the CSA. And then he's going to go after NASA later this year and early next year. But he doesn't have much standing with that one. Okay. Okay. The reason, I'm trying to get this done by 8 o'clock. Because I think somebody else is supposed to be starting another live stream. Plus, there's a baseball game on tonight. I don't normally watch baseball that much, but it'd be interesting to watch. So, okay.
Just more and more facts and evidence that space does not exist, which is absolutely fantastic. Ah, bum, 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 bum. New star pictures. Let's have a look at this file folder, even though I've got thousands of them. We've got, for those of you who have not seen the star Antares, this is a somewhat clear video or screenshot of it.
Okay, we're going to talk about his observations of stars. He doesn't understand stars. He thinks that these blurry images are what real stars look like. Real stars are point sources. They look round. There are round balls of plasma in space. We have a big example of it in the middle of our solar system. And he doesn't get what astronomers do. Astronomers don't take videos of stars because what they really want to look at is, where did I put that second, is a light curve. Well, these are other examples of light curves. I don't know how well they're showing up. Okay. And okay, you can look at the Wikipedia one too, but like for here when they figure out the peak wavelength, they can figure out the temperature of the star. And here, like the shorter the wavelength, it's going into like X-ray and ultraviolet, and the longer wavelengths are going into red, infrared, radio, microwave. I could probably get that backwards. The last two backwards, but also in these light curves there are dips, and these are due to molecules between us and the star, or in the outer atmosphere of the star. There's 3 rules about spectrum that they're called Kirchhoff's laws. If there's a hot, dense gas or solid, it's a continuous spectrum. If there's a hot, dense gas or solid, and then there's something in front of it, and that something will absorb the light. That's called an absorption spectrum. And if it's just bright spikes, that's called an emission spectrum. Just excuse me for a second. So that's what's going on here. And something like these dips will indicate what's going on in the star. Like, it'll give you what kind of element, depending on where the dips are, and how energetic these are, how fast the molecules are moving in the area, which can give you your temperature again. And also can give you the relative abundances using equations called the Saha equation. Plus, also in magnetic fields, the lines will split. It's called the Zeeman effect. So there's all kinds of stuff that scientists to figure out how to interpret these images. I'm trying to write a program to try to simulate this to show people, and that'll probably be a while. But that's what astronomers do. They look at these and they take the spectrum and they take the width and the depth and all the stuff, and they basically what they do.
I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
And hopefully I won't get too many copyright notices. But that's what scientists do with all this light, is they actually look at the different wavelengths and figure out what's going on in the star. They don't want to take videos. That's not what these telescopes are meant for. They're not there to take videos of stars. Flat earthers think everything in the universe is about them, and we're trying to disprove them. Scientists have moved, astronomy's generally moved on. That's basically it. Oh yeah, The Martian, great movie from a person who likes Mars and has grown potatoes. So yeah, and I'm going to make a little comment about Friday. He went into a couple of public buildings, and he thinks all public buildings should be open access, and should be able to record whatever he wants. But the thing is, he went into the legislative assembly, which is the legislative assembly that I don't know what the equivalent, can't remember. These are like the state houses of representatives in the states. They're regional. Like New Brunswick has one, Nova Scotia has one, PEI has one. Right now, today in Nunavut, which is a territory in the north, they're voting for their members. And it's all different. They have different numbers, but in each of these houses. But this is where the government meets to make laws and discuss things. And he thinks he can walk in there with a camera. The thing is there's people in there that are doing sensitive deals or have sensitive information. They don't want it recorded. And so they made a rule that you can't record in there. Then he went over to a courthouse. In Canada, there's quite sensitive rules about dealing with minors. And they have rules that you can't record in the courthouse. I have the feeling part of it is because of dealing with minors, children, like adopted cases or child abuse or crimes they committed, plus other things that private discussions people don't want recorded by random strangers in the hallways. In the States, they call these people First Amendment auditors. They go into public buildings such as post offices and stuff and annoy the staff at the post office and try to get the cops called in saying that they broke their First Amendment rights. Mikey, here's the thing. In our Bill of Rights and Constitution, we have the right of free speech. That does not mean you have the right to record everybody's free speech. That's the way I see it. But plus, these places have a lot of sensitive conversations going on. And yes, it only took me less than 40 minutes. I'm not a super talkative person. I was feeling whoever is listening just wants to listen right now. That's fine. So, but yeah, that's basically... Mikey doesn't understand the science behind a lot of this stuff, and he doesn't understand the rules. And I know I come off as a bit of pompous trying to tell him this, but I think I don't. There's different kinds of flat earthers. There's people who are running scams. I won't mention names. Potato Man. There's people who are doing it because they actually really believe this. There are some people who, I think Mikey fell into this and he took these images and people celebrated his images or his activity and he just kept running with it. But I think that's it. Hope everybody has a good day and goodbye. And I hope I'm not treading on anybody else's time. Because here's the thing, there's a lot of my audience goes to other people. So, listens to other people in the same group, so you don't really want to take away from too many other people's view times. And thank you for Dan at Unfornicated who mentioned me in his live stream yesterday, and I got 2 more subscribers out of it. So I hope everybody has a good day, and goodbye.